The long-awaited 2024 Salem's Lot adaptation is now being shown exclusively on Max. And for readers and fans of the 1975 novel, like me, they might have noticed that key plot points and character backstories have been significantly changed. Now, as a person who's read the book multiple times, although I am due a reread, and as someone who's recommended it to friends personally, but also on my blog as the perfect entry point to readers who are new to Stephen King, I want to share some of the differences I have noticed with this new adaptation. Welcome back to the Biblio Lifestyle channel, where we're reading and living better together. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you're the first to know what's new when I go live and when new videos are uploaded. Today, I'm really excited to talk more about Max's adaptation of Salem's Lot. This is a 2024 adaptation. Now, the first thing I want to say is that at the core, the story remains similar to the 1975 novel. And at the heart of this story, we meet Ben Mears, who's returning to Jerusalem's Lot, also called Salem's Lot. And while there, he confronts a vampire named Barlow and his human servant, Straker. Now, there are many key plot points and character backstories that have been changed. So I want to spotlight some of them with you here today. Now, if you've noticed any changes from the book to this new adaptation, I'd love to hear from you. So let's talk about it in the comments. Okay, so the first major change I want to point out is the ending. So yes, we are starting at the end. Now, in the book, Mark and Ben return a year later to destroy the remaining vampires in Salem's Lot by setting the entire town on fire. However, in the movie, we don't get an epilogue. We see Ben and Mark simply leaving town after killing Barlow. Now, my question to you is, does this open the story up for a follow-up film? Let me know your thoughts. Personally, I just felt that's where the cookie crumbled. Again, we're starting at the end because another major difference was with the final showdown with Ben and Barlow. Now, in the book, the showdown takes place in the basement of Eve's boarding house where Ben was renting a place. However, in the movie, the climax shifted and now we are at the drive-in theater. This is where Barlow is hiding with all the other vampires from the town. And this showdown was really action-packed. I love seeing Mark and Ben pull out the casket, trying to open it, then seeing Mark getting in the car and mowing down the screen, which was blocking out some of the sunlight, which set all these vampires on fire. Listen, I was living for that action scene. It was just there was a lot happening. And two things. Thing number one is I appreciated this action scene. I also appreciated this new way to end the whole film, just because I felt like this is something new and fresh for fans of the books. Now, for me personally, I wanted this to happen at the house. The Marston house was so underutilized in this film. Again, I talk about it in my review. I wish we had the final showdown there. I also wish we got more backstory into the lore of the house. I'll talk more about that soon because that's also another alteration with a house connection when it comes to Ben. But just in general, I wanted to see more of the house. So personally, I wanted it to be at the house. However, I did appreciate the new and fresh drive-in movie theater showdown setting. Now, sticking with the house theme and me wanting more, this is another difference in the book versus the movie. Now, in the book, I love this house. I was living because the house was almost like a character in the entire story. I don't know if y'all can see that red book back there. It's actually the casing with the book half out. That is Rebecca. And I love it because I love the house in that novel. Mandalay, 10 out of 10, 0 notes. I love a book where the house, especially a creepy house with a back history and story, is front and center. So in the book, The house is treated like a character. It has a deep, dark history that's linked to the original owner, the original Marston, right? Whereas in the movie, we got nothing. In the movie, the house's background, the history of just like the mobster guy, because the Marston guy, he was a mobster. And there's just a really gruesome history surrounding that. And just the reason why it's such a catalyst for evil. All of that was completely omitted in the movie. The movie doesn't even explore the connection to Barlow, because there is a connection to Barlow. Again, the film gave us nothing when it came to the house. And like I said earlier, I wanted the final showdown to be at the house, and we did not get that. Another major change is Ben Mears' backstory. Okay, so in the book, Ben lived in Jerusalem's lot with his aunt after his father's death. And after he had and it's noteworthy to mention, he had a haunting encounter in the Marston house as a child. We got none of that in the movie. I thought that would have added more depth to Ben's character. Instead, I feel we got more of a cop-out when it came to his character. So in the film, it completely removes his connection to the house. It changes up the whole childhood trauma that he had, which was the haunting encounter. Instead, we get a story about his parents dying in a car crash. We also don't get the story about his wife, Miranda. I mean, come on. But I felt like that tragedy was replaced with the parents' death. But I would have loved to see his connection to the house highlighted in the film, and unfortunately, we did not get that. Okay, let's talk about Susan's parents, specifically her mom, Anne, but I also have to make mention of her father, Bill. Now, that's another point. We did not get, so in the book, we learn more about Susan's parents, Anne and Bill. They actually play an active role in the book. We also see their differing reactions to Ben when, Ben and Susan kind of are getting together. We actually see in the book where Bill is very supportive while Anne is skeptical. Now, in the film, we do get Anne being skeptical. However, I've noticed they've completely omitted the father's portion because we find out through Susan that he had died. So he died before the whole movie. Instead, we also see a shift where Anne takes on the role as Barlow's servant when we see Straker's die. So that was kind of interesting. Now, I have to be honest, this was one of the things I did appreciate in the end. I kind of appreciated the action of the ending at the movie drive-in. But again, go watch my other video where I do a review on the film. Now, on the note of Susan, we have to talk about her transformation. Now, in the book, we do see her becoming a vampire. However, how she becomes a vampire is very different. So in the book, she went to the Marston house to investigate with Mark. And they had this whole, kind of situation. And Barlow actually turns her. So in the movie, this is completely different. In the movie, we see her being attacked by, like, her mom setting her up and her being attacked while she's there chatting to her mom. And that's how she changes. And then we see Ben eventually kind of killing her in that showdown. So the way she is transformed was also different. But to be honest with you, that part was neither here nor there for the film. However, it also eliminated the house element. So remember, I keep saying I wanted more of the house. I wish we would have seen her go into the house and, we kind of got that showdown with her and Mark. That would have been great. But that's just me personally wanting more house setting and house content. Okay, another thing that was different was Mark and Danny's kind of, encounters. This was different in the book as opposed to the movie. Now, this is something I love, is the classic, the boy hovering outside. I mean, we do get that in the 79 adaptation as well. I appreciated it here. I loved this. I don't know, I do. Again, watch my review video so you can get a full grasp on the things the film did right, but also the things that, weren't so good. But let's get back to the differences. So in the book, we see Mark's encounter with Danny when he becomes a vampire. It's a one and done, right? We don't have these additional scenes as we got in the movie. Now, I will say, I didn't mind. And of course, we see that final confrontation that happens at Straker's store where Mark kills Danny. I felt like in the movie, we had more closure, which is why I appreciated it. Whereas in the book, Danny just ran away and we don't really have like the Danny Mark back and forth again. I appreciated the movie's version. So here we go, giving the movie a win just because we got closure. Okay, another change is Dr. Cody. So in the book, Dr. Cody is a male character, right? So that is a whole different thing, and who also becomes a critical ally. In the movie, we see that Dr. Cody is actually now a female character, but the role remains mostly the same. However, how it ends in the movie, it ends completely differently, because in the movie, we see her come to her end due to Susan's mother, Anne. Anne was going bang, bang, and Dr. Cody died. So that's how that one ended. Okay, another one, teacher Matthew Burke. That is completely different in the book. Okay, in the book, the teacher, Matt, we see him suffer a heart attack, but he was also the researcher at the head of who was guiding the group in how to combat the vampires. However, in the movie, we don't have the heart attack plot. Instead, we see him being killed in the cellar when he was trying to protect Mark from Straker and Barlow. So the whole, him dying, the whole location was changed. I mean, to some degree, he was a guy, but we just really didn't get that much in depth in the film. And another thing that was different in the book than in the film was Father Callahan's fate. Okay, so in the book, it was mostly unresolved, right? I know he was tainted by Barlow, but he leaves town. We really don't know how things played out with Father Callahan because he left town. Now, with the book, we had a definitive end because we saw he was killed by Barlow when he went to Mark's parents' house. And in that way, we had closure to that ending. So I didn't mind that change at all, but that was also something that was worth noting that was also very different. All right, so those are some of the major changes that I've noticed from the book to the 2024 movie adaptation. So as you can see, changes were made to the plot lines, the characters, the setting. So we have something wholly new and original that's different from the novel, but at its core, it maintained the same kind of vibe. Now, I personally would love to hear from you, so let's continue the conversation in the comments. Let me know some of the changes that you've noticed from the book to this new 2024 adaptation. But you know what? Let's also talk about the 1979 adaptation. What other differences have you noticed? Now, if you haven't already, now's a great time for you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you are the first to know if I do another book to screen adaptation, to see what I'm reading, what I'm recommending, and so much more. So again, like the video, it's an easy and free way to support the channel, but also hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you're the first to know what's new when I go live and when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching.